Why Africa's borders make no sense. Have you ever looked at a map of Africa and noticed something strange? The borders, many of them, are perfectly straight. Lines so straight they seem almost unnatural. And that's because they are. Africa's modern borders were mostly drawn, not by Africans, but by European powers. And the story behind it is one of the most significant and often overlooked chapters in modern history. Let's go back in time. Before European colonization, Africa was home to thousands of distinct communities. There were empires like Mali, Songhai, and Ethiopia, kingdoms like Congo, Buganda, and Benin, and countless smaller societies, each with their own languages, governance, and identities. Boundaries were fluid, shaped by trade, rivers, migration, and war, not by rulers sitting thousands of kilometers away, but that all began to change in the 19th century. In 1884, leaders from 13 European countries and the United States met in Berlin. Not a single African leader was invited. This gathering, now known as the Berlin Conference, lasted several months. Its purpose? To decide how European powers would divide Africa without fighting each other. They agreed that if a country could control a region by force or administration, they had the right to claim it. No one considered African cultures, tribes, or borders. Maps were divided like pieces on a board game. The results were dramatic. Within just a few decades, nearly 90% of Africa was under European control. Lines were drawn straight through ethnic groups. Some communities were split across colonies. Others with little in common were forced together inside the same borders. Take the Yu people, for example, divided between British Ghana and French Togo. The Somali people? Split between Ethiopia, Kenya, Djibouti, and Somalia. These weren't natural divisions. They were political decisions made in foreign capitals. By the mid-20th century, African countries began gaining independence, but the borders remained. Leaders faced a choice: redraw the map and risk conflict, or keep the borders and try to build unity within them. Most chose unity. In 1963, the Organization of African Unity declared the colonial borders would stay to avoid chaos and war. It was practical, but far from easy. To this day, some of those lines remain flashpoints of tension. Today, Africa is home to over 1.4 billion people and more than 2,000 languages. But the legacy of colonial borders still lingers. Some regions struggle with identity, with national unity, or political stability, especially where ethnic divisions run deep. But this isn't just Africa's burden. It's a global lesson in how borders drawn without care or consent can shape the fate of entire continents. So the next time you look at a map of Africa, remember, those lines aren't just borders, they're scars. Scars from decisions made in faraway rooms, by people who never set foot on the land they were dividing. And while we can't change the past, we can seek to understand it. Because that's the first step toward a more honest view of the world.